Welcome to Vida Spiritual Connection. Today's message is especially for you if you're someone in recovery, if you're someone who wants to increase happiness, if you want to enjoy overall health and wholeness, if you want to enhance relationships, or simply just feel connected to life. My name is Sunshine Daye, and today we're going to explore Gracias, idioms and axioms. So idioms and axioms are two different concepts with two different meanings. So let me break it down. First of all, idioms are words or phrases that when said, they sound colorful, they are interesting, and yet if you were to dissect them and look at them individually, they don't mean exactly what they said. So for instance, kick the bucket really means to die, what's on my bucket list, like what's on my list of things to do before I die, or like, oh yeah, she was so mad at him that he's sleeping in the doghouse. Well, he's not literally sleeping in the doghouse. What it really means is he's in trouble and they're not having a good time together. Whereas axiom is a self-evident truth. It's an acceptable principle. It's a fundamental idea. So an example of an axiom is the whole is greater than the part. Now, you don't need proof of that. The whole is greater than the part. Well, yeah, like that's the way that it is, right? Like I don't have to research that or really look into it. It just makes sense and it's logical and it's a place to start a conversation from. And so idioms are figurative and axioms are more of the fundamental truths or principles. And the reason I bring that up is because I like to use an idiom that I learned from Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith many, many years ago, and I use it often on my show, A Spiritual Remedy, on Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific, and that is lay down your weapons of mass distraction. Now, that's just a colorful, creative way to encourage people to let go of the things that are distracting or diverting their attention so that they could be focused on what truly matters in life. And if I were to put that and make that an axiom, what I would say instead is a focused mind is a powerful mind. Now, notice how lay down your weapons of mass distraction is different than a focused mind is a powerful mind. And they still have depth and weight. And so I want to be able to explore that today. And first and foremost, I want to just take a moment that as we enter this month of November, we now focus on First People Heritage Month, otherwise known as Native American Heritage Month. And I want to acknowledge Turtle Island, which is the name that the First Nation people gave this land because they believed that it was more like a turtle and there's still landmass underneath like a turtle. Sometimes we only see its shell on the surface. And specifically living in Long Beach, California, the sacred land that I am on are the Pavangna. It's the Pavangna land of the Togva people. So taking a moment to just acknowledge that is important for me. And it'll all tie in just a minute. I want to tell you a quick story. The other night I went to bed early and I plugged in my cell phone. I had set the alarm and I fell asleep. Now at 1:30 in the morning, I was awakened by two women screaming and they were cursing at each other. And I was annoyed because I had an early morning the next day. I had to be somewhere early in the morning and a lot earlier than I usually am. And I was relying upon my alarm on my cell phone to wake me up. So it's 1:30 in the morning and I'm like, yo, this is annoying. I'm upset. I'm being inconvenienced. And how dare you wake me up at 1:30 in the morning because y'all are fussing and fighting. And so I thought, how inconsiderate. I yelled out of the window, please be quiet. And as I did that, I, picked up my phone to see what time it was because I didn't know it was 1:30 in the morning. But lo and behold, my cell phone was dead. And I was like, it's not charging. There's something wrong with the charger, which means that my alarm wouldn't have awakened me at the particular time so that I can be to my appointment on time. Now, what I thought was an inconvenience of them waking me up and yelling was actually for my good. So I located another charger, and of course, the rest of was history. I use that story to then tie into the stories that I learned about the Pilgrims and about the First Nation people, the Indians, as they were called. I was taught the story about, a big old dinner table and turkey and corn and all kinds of stuff, and the Pilgrims and the Indians all getting together and just being happy. Now, after research and after some documentation and after talking with a lot of scholars and watching a lot of documentaries, of course, what I learned is that the story that I learned in elementary school was based on a particular person telling the story, not everybody, not hearing the angles of everybody's stories. And, listening to the stories of First Nation people here in the U.S. on Turtle Island, I understood that there was a lot of rape and murder and that there was inhumane treatment of the First Nation people. And yet, here is this idea of gratitude and sitting at a table and being grateful and having this thing called Thanksgiving. And so I relate that to my being awakened at 1:30 in the morning, just on a very small scale, just to kind of say something wonderful coming out of something horrific, even though my horrific being awakened at 1:30 in the morning was nothing like what the First Nation people experienced here on their land. And yet I want to pull out something, a practice of gratitude, to say that an axiom may be that a grateful mind is a powerful mind. A grateful mind is a powerful mind. Now, this idea of gracias, dando gracias, giving thanks, being grateful, being in deep appreciation, studies show that all of those feelings and the feelings of gratitude and thanksgiving actually have a positive impact on the various aspects of our living. And that these attitudes of gratitude and thanksgiving and gracias, grace and thanksgiving, that they actually contribute to our well-being and potentially can lead to successful living in various areas, like in recovery, like in having enhanced relationships and great marriages and relationships, like being successful in business and in life, overall, having improved mental health. Because gratitude is associated with reducing the symptoms of depression and anxiety. So people who regularly engage in a gratitude practice, they tend to enjoy greater mental health and a more positive outlook on life. And when I think about increasing our happiness, who doesn't want to have increased happiness? And gratitude and that sense of appreciation and thanksgiving and gracias, it can boost those feelings of happiness and satisfaction. Because when we as human beings focus on what we're thankful for, it tends to lead to more feelings of content and of joy. And when I am in relationship with others, whether it's an intimate relationship, a friendship, a work relationship, when gratitude is expressed, it actually strengthens the social bonds and the relationships, and it fosters a sense of connection, a sense of reciprocity. I know for sure when people say, hey, I appreciate you for washing the dishes, I'm more willing. There's this increased sense in me that I'm more willing to support my household, my home, my community. And that when I'm having those feelings, that gratitude practices and expressing gratitude actually leads to improved physical health, because it lowers the stress. It lowers those chemicals in the body that tend to keep us uptight and in anxiety. I'm able to sleep better, and it contributes to the overall well-being. Now, it's important to note that, right? This is like the disclaimer, right? Because some people be like, yeah, well, I'm grateful and I and it's not working for me. What's important is that this becomes not only a practice, but a way of living, that we practice it so much that now it is part of our nature, that it is part of our experience, that this spiritual practice now becomes our spiritual way of being. Gratitude is a mindset, and it's a practice that sets the stage for success, and people will have a different reaction and response to it based on where they are on the path. The idea is that when you start out, if you do it for a week, you're going to notice some differences, but it has to be consistent, and it has to be something that you do over and over again, so that your relationships are enhanced, and that things that used to be complicated now become a little more simple because you're expressing. Here's the other thing too. Expression is not withholding. You're expressing your gratitudes and your appreciations, and getting it outside of you into the world frees you up to also receive those expressions from other people of their gratitude, of their thanksgiving. And so, beloveds, whether you are ready to lay down your weapons of mass distraction, or whether you're ready to experience a focused mind as a powerful mind, you can text your gratitudes to us. Text us your gratitudes, and we'll text you our gratitudes, because this is a surefire way of anchoring in a powerful spiritual practice that is going to transform our lives. What we appreciates. So utilize our phone number, 562-928-6460. Text us your gratitude. We'll text you back ours, and know that you are loved. I trust today's message has been a source of inspiration. Until the next time, be well. Thanks for tuning in to Vida Spiritual Connection. Use the links in the description for prayer requests, to donate to Vida Spiritual Learning Center, and to join our mailing list. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And you can visit us at vidaslc.org for more information.